Good evening. Welcome to the Arsenal show. We are live and we are here to discuss the post-match. It's the post-match reaction of the Arsenal versus Everton game. Joining me, delighted to say, is Mr. Steve K. Steve, you all right?
I'm all right, Jerome. Delighted to be here. Yeah,
That's
nice
it.
plant you got in the background there. What is that? Is that
Mate,
rubber plant?
It's 100% real. 100% real.
Yeah,
I have to water it every other day. So,
you see, I have to do about 50 every day. It's a joke. Mrs. She's gone crazy, garden crazy.
I'm going to get into this a lot more now the season's ended.
What, gardening?
Yeah, gardening, flowering, whatever you like. To pass the time now. But look, we're here to discuss a game that was probably a really good performance in the end. Although, let's face it, in the end, it didn't really sort of mean much, unfortunately, because results didn't go our way. Shame, because the final game of the season, there could have been a lot to play for, but in the end, it was just decent performance, very good result. But as I say, didn't really mean much. What were your sort of thoughts going into the game, Steve? Were you sort of looking forward to it, or what were your overall thoughts?
Yeah, there was always that little bit of hope. When he was going into it, and you think, well, can Norwich go into the Tottenham? So it wasn't like I was looking to it as like a dead rubber. Which some games you go into an end of the season, which they are. So there was that little bit of hope. But ideally, I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect Tottenham to slip up at Norwich, and they didn't. But the boys done well. What I wanted to see was a good performance from the end of the season, so that it gave us something to look forward to. When we get into the pre-season games and to the start of the season, and they left us off on a high. So I don't think we could have asked for much more than that. As I say, we go into more about the season, tomorrow. But as far as the game goes, they played well. We seem to like playing Everton the last day of the season. We seem to always give them an hiding. I've known a few 7s and a few 8s and a few 9s against Everton in the past. Maybe not that much, over exaggerating it a bit there. But
maybe next season.
I've certainly seen it a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. It's 7 against them. So it was a good performance from the boys. Something to after the disappointment of Newcastle. So pretty pleased. Pretty pleased.
Yeah. With the team lineup, he went strong, Arteta. He basically went with his strongest team available. I guess he had to do that just in case sort of Spurs lost. So I guess you weren't surprised that he went strong, Arteta.
Yeah. No, I wasn't surprised. I think if he started, I think the fans wouldn't have, taken anything less than she would have started throwing a couple of kids in or anything like that. And there was that chance, and I feel Arteta thought there was that chance. So still, he played the full strength side, and rightly so. And like we've already said, they did the business. They played really well. Although Everton, they were on the beach, they had really nothing to play for. But you still got to go out there and beat what's in front of you. And they did that really well.
Yeah. This was probably, Steve, I reckon the first game, maybe in the last 17 or 18 games, where possibly the sort of pressure was off of us. Yeah. Where we weren't going into the game like stressed, under pressure. Although we did need sort of a result just in case, there wasn't the same amount of pressure. And the performance, I guess, shows that when we're not under the pressure, we can really play well. And so I think maybe something to take into next season is to see if Arteta can get the boys playing without feeling the pressure. Because when the shackles are off, we seem to be able to play a lot better. Do you think maybe next season he'll see if, I guess, mentally and psychologically he can help the players perform not under as much pressure, even in pressurised games?
Yeah, I think he'll definitely do that. I think there were times, where when you're young, you go into games and there's no fear, is there? Sometimes when you go into games and you're young, it doesn't matter who you play and who you are. But I think as long as you've got those heads those experienced heads behind you, the young players can carry on doing their stuff. And I think as far as when the season goes on, I think it was just due to the lack of their experienced players got injuries or lack of form, that the younger players were looking around to saying, I need someone to sort of guide me. And, that's something that we've got to fix in the transfer window. But, to answer your questions about going on to next season and, going into them, with a bit of no fear. Yeah, I think they could easily do that. I think they do need a couple of signings. They need some people around them that's going to give them the confidence. Arteta's a guy that he's very good with young players and bringing the confidence out in them. And we've seen it with Saka and Martinelli and Odegaard and Smith Rowe and Gabriels and Whites. They've all we're talking about how they're the young stars have sort of improved since Arteta's come to the club. But what we've got to think, we've got to notice as well is that even the elder players that have came in that have improved since Arteta's come. So when you put all that together, it is very exciting. And I think we've got the right manager. And as I said, we just need we need some experienced players. We don't need no more young players. We need some people around 25, 26 years old. And then I think exactly what you said there. I think they'll go into games, no matter who they're playing, with plenty of confidence.
Yeah. We'll come on to do a brief player rating shortly, the final player ratings of the season. What was nice to see, I thought, just a couple more talking points, is that the goals were shared around yesterday.
Yeah.
Five different scorers, which was nice to see. Now, talking of goal scorers, the player that set up Everton's goal was Dominic Calvert-Lewin, a player that has been linked with Arsenal in the past. Steve, I'd love to know what are sort of your thoughts on Calvert-Lewin as a potential striker for Arsenal. What do you think of him?
He's not. If we're going to get the Calvert-Lewin that was playing for Everton, then at the beginning of the season where he was smashing goals and he got himself into the England squad, well, last season wasn't it? He got himself into. Then but I don't think he's the type of player that Arsenal are going to go for. He will cost an immense amount of money. Around the 70 million, 80 million mark. So I don't think Arsenal are going to go there. There was a few rumblings on in January about him, but since then there's nothing on the horizon. But he is a really good player, and I can't see him staying at Everton. And I'm sure he can play in maybe a top four side once he gets himself fit and back to firing again, because he's got everything. He's good with his left foot, he's good with the right foot, and he's good in the air. So when you think of that, he's perfect. But I think Arsenal got other priorities other than Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it seems to me at the moment, from what I'm hearing. So, but he's a very good player, and Everton, look, they'll want to keep him. They'll do everything in their power to keep him. And I think I don't know. I said there'll be other teams come up, but I don't know. I've just got this funny feeling he'll stay. I think he'll stay. He might stay at Everton. Just due to the bigger teams, with other pride, but very, very good player. So, why did you think it's someone that Arsenal could look at bringing in, or someone of that ilk?
I'm not sure. I've seen a bit of Calvert-Lewin in the last couple of games, and without sounding disrespectful, the more I watch him, the more I'm convinced that he probably isn't right for us.
Yeah, I agree.
He's very good at winning balls in the air when they get played up to him. But I think if he plays at Arsenal, he'll be flicking them on. And because we don't really play sort of with two central strikers, I think he'll just be flicking them on to no one.
Yeah.
And it looks good. It visually looks really good to win headers. He's got a great leap. But I think that's a large part of his game that I don't think we would really get too much from. But like you said, hopefully there's other targets. And I think the fact that Everton have stayed up, I think if they would have went down Everton, I think he'd have been a dead cert to leave and go somewhere. But I think maybe now he'll he'll stay.
Yeah.
Hello, Steve. Nice to see you as always.
Right?
Cool. So let's let's get into as I said, the brief player ratings. So I guess a typical game for Ramsdale, Steve. The fact that he didn't really have much to do, did he? What?
No.
It's hard to score, sort of Ramsdale, isn't it, when he has these sort of games?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give Ramsdale. I mean, give him a 6. You know, he did nothing wrong. He's looked a bit nervous over the last few games, but he looked pretty sturdy today. Over the season, he's been very good. But as I said, the other night on Sunday, he didn't have a lot to do. What he did do, he done well. It wasn't at fault for the goal. There's nothing he could do about that. So I'll give Ramsdale a 6.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Now our right back, he came up with quite a nice goal, didn't he?
Didn't he?
Maybe he shouldn't be taking corners. He should be on the receiving end of them. Great strike.
Fantastic strike, wasn't it? I mean, it was just looked like to me like he passed it in the net. You know, he sort of like he swooped it in more than he hit it. But it was a lovely finish. I mean, he's not someone you would want starting every week for Arsenal, but he can come in and he can do a job as he has proved many a time. He has his odd nightmare. But we can say that about a lot of players at Arsenal. But he did really well. As I say, Everton really didn't push us with any pressure. He again, like Ramsdale, he did what he did well when it come to defending, and he scored a fantastic goal. So as it's the end of the season, we'll be generous and give him a 7.
Yeah, why not? Coming on to the 2 centre backs. Maybe we'll mark them together, perhaps. Although one of them obviously did get on the score sheet. Gabriel with a nice finish. What did you make of the centre backs yesterday?
Yeah, again, the backs didn't have a lot to do, did they?
Yeah.
But it was who were the centre backs? I've just got.
So Holding came back into the team after he was suspended for the Newcastle game.
Holding. It was Holding.
Gabriel.
Yeah, I don't know. I must have misheard you. I thought you said White for a minute. I don't know why I had White in the head. But Holding and Gabriel. For me, Holding was at fault for the goal, Jerome. I mean, I don't know what he was doing there. The ball came across, and I mean, I'd have to watch it again. But it looked like he just let it go. It just looked like it went right through him, and it seemed like he had his eye more on the player in front of him than the ball, and he just sort of. I felt he could get there, and he didn't. So that wasn't good. So for him, I'd give a 5, and for Gabriel, again he scored the goal. He was sturdy at the back, so I'll give Gabriel, as he scored the goal and he didn't do nothing wrong at the back, I'll give him a 7. So we can combine marks of a 6, I suppose, between the two of them.
Gabriel, I think I'm right in saying he's the top scoring centre back this season in the league, Gabriel. So hopefully he'll be able to hopefully next season he'll be able to continue in that form. Now coming on to the left back, a player that I guess splits opinions. But I thought from what I saw, he had quite a decent game, and that's Nuno Tavares.
Yeah.
What
he can't. I agree with you. I thought I'm glad he got a start for that, because I thought when he came on against Newcastle, he looked lively. And I thought let's give him a start against Everton, and they did, and I think he did himself proud. And again, not had much to do, but I thought he got forward. Tavares is always going to get forward. So I mean, after a few sort of nightmares over the last, when he has played recently, I've thinking thought that he's turned it round, and I thought he went back to the type of performance that he gave. When we were saying that Tierney might not get back in. I thought he was on that type of lines again. So I give him 6.
Cool. Nice. Now moving on to the midfield. We'll start with a player that it seems is going to be extending his stay with the club, and that is Mohamed El Neni.
Yeah,
another solid performance, to be fair, from El Neni.
Yeah, he's, he was solid. I thought he was a bit, against Newcastle, it wasn't great. But that was probably a bad day at the office. But I think overall, since Partey's been out the side and Elneny's come in, I think he's been excellent. And for me, he totally deserves his 1 year extension. I'm pleased that he's got it. He's very well liked in the dressing room. I thought he sort of, him and Xhaka sort of controlled that midfield. Again, Everton just either didn't seem to want to know, but you still have to give credit to your midfield. And again, I think El Neni proved himself that he can be part of the squad. And when he comes in, Arsenal fans, I ain't going to sort of drop their heads and think, we've got El Neni in the side, and instead people can turn around and think, we've got El Neni there. He's okay. Let's go. He's more than an able deputy, and and Arteta must see that, otherwise he wouldn't have given him that extra year. So again, Egyptian international, great in the dressing room. Great decision for me from Arteta to keep him. And again, I think we give him a 6.
Cool. Yeah, him and Xhaka seemed to sort of control the game, I suppose. They had a lot of time on the ball. They could sort of pick their passes.
Yeah.
It was a nice game for the two of them. And obviously then we come on to Xhaka. What were your thoughts on Xhaka yesterday?
Yeah, Xhaka, again, he did the job. I think 9 times out of 10 he does come in and he does a job. He's not we know what his faults are, but I'll go into more what I think of Xhaka's season obviously tomorrow in the review. But again, I thought he was sturdy. I thought he was, I like him there. He always, whenever he seems there, you feel that little bit more safer. You're always that little bit wary that he's going to get that yellow card or he's going to get that booking. But look, he's midfield players and sometimes it just happens. But I think overall he's curbed it a little bit, and he's certainly better than what he has been in the past. I thought we did a good job on Sunday in Man El Neni, like you've already said, and I'll give him a 6.
Yeah. So now we move on to the skipper yesterday, Odegaard. Scored a quality goal. And it seemed to be a day where he really enjoyed himself, and one of those games where he felt on it, felt comfortable. And, just oozed a bit of class, really, didn't he, Odegaard, yesterday?
Yeah, he was the Odegaard Meister, wasn't he? Again, yesterday. I mean, I'm just so excited, next season to see, once we've brought in 1 or 2 players, to see what he can really do, because, Real Madrid must be crying in their cups of tea every morning, or their sangria, or I should say their sangria, every morning, because, letting this guy go was a massive mistake, I'm afraid. Ancelotti always says to him, he's not his type of player. He doesn't want him. Well, look, Carlo, you're a top manager and you've done everything in the game, but I'll tell you what, mate, you got this one wrong, because this guy's good. He could be touching world class in the next 3 years. He's that good. He glides around that pitch on Sunday. He's sort of like, I'm the boss. He's taken that captain's armband on with aplomb. I've heard he was going to be captain a couple of months ago, that he was going to be captain next season. It looks like that's going to be the way. I'm quite happy with him being captain, because his performances are not dropping, because he's the captain. I see him on Everton on Sunday. He was going round to players, talking to them, sort of, and when the referee was sort of having a word with one of the Arsenal players, he would be there as well, sort of looking over their shoulders. And then when the referee was finished talking to them, then they would move away, and Odegaard was having a word in the players' ears, and I thought that was fantastic. For me, he was excellent. Again, a fantastic goal, beautiful goal, world-class goal. It's not all about hitting them from 40 yards, bullets from outside the box. That was a beautiful goal. I'm going to give it Odegaard, which is becoming a bit of an habit for me, an 8.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think as well. Yeah, deserves at least an 8. You mentioned the term world class there. Another player with, I guess, the potential. Another very young player is Saka. What a long old seasons he's had. I think he's one of the only players that's played in every Premier League game.
Yeah,
and again played yesterday. He's done so well to play in all these games. And I know I'm sure we'll discuss him more tomorrow night. But yeah, how do you rate his performance yesterday?
Just, it's funny that we still talk about him as a special talent, as if like he's got more in his locker, and we're not seeing the best of him yet. And that must be frightening, for the rest of the Premiership, to think that, he's not even. I think he's probably in third gear at the minute, and that, I think he's still got 2 gears to go above him. Because I think he could still get more assists. I still think he can definitely score more goals, and he's more than capable of doing that. But again against Everton, dangerous, hard to handle. Got 2 assists. On the day, one from a corner. Both from corners. I can't remember now. But both. I know he got 2 assists, and he was a thorn in the Everton side the whole game, like he's been a thorn in most teams' of defences the whole season. So for me, probably just underneath Odegaard. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, cool. And now the man that sort of got the ball rolling, winning the penalty with the shot that it won't be handballed. They went to VAR for that, and I don't know why it took the ref so long to give it, because it was quite obvious that he sort of put his arm out and it hit it. But anyway, we finally got a VAR decision. And obviously the player I'm talking about is Martinelli. Stepped up, took the penalty quite well, sent the keeper the wrong way. Yeah, looked dangerous yesterday, didn't he, Martinelli?
Yeah, again, he was on it. He loves playing he's much better at the Emirates than he is when we play away, I feel. He still feels like he's on his own pitch. He feels at home when we've got the crowd behind him. But the away form that I think he still needs to get better will come. But yeah, he was excellent yesterday. The penalty, what a great penalty. No nerves there. We're talking about young players with nerves, just stepped up and just that's how you want to take a penalty. But Iwobi, it was a definite penalty, sticking his hand up. I'm sure I wasn't the only person who was thinking Iwobi's done that on purpose.
Yeah. Possibly.
He didn't look like, even when it was given, Iwobi's put his head, he sort of looks and gone like, oh God, have I given away a penalty? Yeah, you have, mate. You have. You have. Because I'm sure if there was half a chance of Arsenal getting into Champions League, I'm sure Alex is still a gooner at heart, and he wouldn't have wanted Tottenham to get it. So I think you might have done us a favour there, but even though it didn't work out in the end. But Martinelli, dangerous, played well. I'll give him. It'd probably be a higher 6, but I'll give him a 6.
Cool. Yeah. And finally, from the players that started yesterday, a guy whose future is very much up in the air, but scored again yesterday, Eddie Nketiah. Great goal. Nice goal. It's what Eddie Nketiah is about, isn't it? It's what he is. He gets inside. He gets in. In front of defenders. Ghosted in from nowhere. Didn't really even see him. He just popped up, got his head to the ball, and it was a lovely header. The way he had to guide that in as well. And again, another player who's, it was good to see after the Newcastle performance that, which he wasn't great. He's come to the following week and he stepped up his game, and it hasn't bothered him, and he's played really well, and he's grabbed himself a goal. Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen with him next season? I'm still in 2 minds. I don't know what to do. I'm still in 2 minds. Jury's out on whether to keep him or not.
If he's going to score like that he has done regularly, then yes. Am I convinced he can do that all the time? No. So, but again, probably another thing we'll talk about tomorrow.
Yeah.
But he did well. He got his goal. I'll give him, again, like Martinelli, I'll give him a high 6, but 6.
Yeah. While he's in my thoughts very quickly with Nketiah, how I think I feel about him is, would he be my first choice striker? No. Would he be my second choice striker? Maybe. Would he be my third choice striker? Definitely yes. So it's very hard. It's a very, like you said, it's a tough one. El Nene versus Everton is Pirlo.
Yeah. Who knows?
the Pirlo. Cool. So yeah, that's all the players that started. As normally, Steve, it's really hard to rate the subs that came on, so we probably won't do that. But there was obviously Lokonga came on, Lacazette and Pepe. I guess Pepe and Lacazette probably their last appearances for the club. I imagine. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I feel that unless Pepe does something extra special next season, which you've got to, obviously you can't really rely on that. You've got to make your decision this season. It's up to Arteta to make the decision whether he wants to keep him or stay. From what I'm hearing, he'll go, and Arsenal will take a cup, for him. They're going to have to take a loss, which is sad because he has got a lot of talent. Lacazette's gone. There's no way he'll be staying at Arsenal next season. Where he will go, I don't really know. I don't really know where Lacazette would go. To be honest with you, he might be able to do a job at a Premiership club further down, one of the teams, coming up maybe from the Championship, something like that. He would be a good buy, and probably the same for Nketiah as well. In that. And then take their career on and then see what happens from there. But two players who, one who jury's still out on, but the other one, I think it's, especially with his wages as well, there's no way he'll be staying. No.
Anyway, lots of decisions now between now and the start of next season, and so. Pretty much that's all for the Arsenal Everton, the last post-match reaction. Just final one from Steve here. Look how we've done with either no striker or one not good enough, so we should raise our levels with a good forward. I think we all think that a good forward is going to have a big impact on this team. And fingers crossed, the recruitment boys know what they're doing. But yeah, thanks very much everyone for joining us for this evening. As I say, for the Arsenal Everton post-match reaction. Tomorrow night, we've got the season review. So there's going to be plenty to discuss. Player of the season, most surprising, perhaps, player of the season. A lot of players to discuss. So join us tomorrow at 8:00 for that. But until then, as I say, thanks for joining. Steve, thanks as always.
Cheers, mate. Welcome as always.
Excellent. Yeah, tomorrow will be a good one. So so join us for that. So until then, as Mr. Kieron says, stay safe, everyone. See you then. And comment of the season will be there as well. So stay safe and wash your hands.